Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. I have Max here. Max is back. Welcome back, Max.
Return. Glad to be back.
See, Max was on holiday. Where did you go?
Sunny Spain. About an hour out from Barcelona. Got to go to the largest football stadium in Europe and lift up the European Cup. Funnily enough, it was quite an experience. One that won't be forgotten anytime soon.
So you went to Spain. John is in Greece,
Yeah.
and I might go to Myrtle Beach sometime later this summer. I'm just saying they have better vacation options than we have here in America. Just saying.
Europe for you, mate.
It's amazing. I'm ridiculously jealous. So in both of us, we've had our heads completely glued to the television, watching games.
We have.
Yeah, 8 a.m. till I guess 8 a.m. our time, 8 a.m. U.S. time till about 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. So that's that much worth of football.
So with us, it's 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So it's kind of navigating your life around those hours. So you've got spare two basically to watch the games. And to be honest, I haven't really done it with much success because I tried going to the gym before and it just didn't feel right. I felt out of touch with the real world, and it was quite a surreal experience.
Yeah, it's throwing me off big time. I'm having to record games so that I can focus some on work and family and all that stuff. It's tough though because it's summertime and my kids are both at home. You know what I mean? So, and my oldest is old enough to care.
Yeah.
So
are they enjoying it? More important.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, whole family's loving this, man. It's entertaining cup.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It isn't it?
Yeah. The thing that hurts is the fact that some of these teams are getting eliminated and they're good.
I know. It's kind of like the cruel reminder of what the World Cup's all about, isn't it? You kind of get this celebration of culture in all these different countries that you wouldn't really see on such a pedestal, shall you say, and seeing them be slowly taken away. It's quite hard because I'm sure we'll keep up with some of the talent that catches our eye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was disappointed because it's the first World Cup that at least one of my kids will be like kind of understanding that the fact that the U.S. isn't in it, but Panama's the team that replaced us pretty much.
Yeah.
That got in instead of us, and they're not a super strong side. They've got England coming up in a couple of days, I believe. There's a video circling of two Panamanian commentators, pundits, listening to their national anthem being played for the first time at the World Cup, and the cameras are still rolling, and they're in the studio, and they have stood up, and they're walking around just crying and high-fiving and staring at the screen. And when you see how much that means to them, compared to how much it would have meant to some of the people in America, where we have a big portion of them that just don't care, it's I'm kind of like, well, at least somebody is in who does appreciate it. I'm not gonna say I'd rather them be in than us. Can't say that.
And they had the national holiday, didn't they? When they qualified, didn't they come for that? See, that's what it means to people, and I think for any outsider to have a national holiday to qualifying for the World Cup, I think that just speaks the volumes of what football can do for the world.
Oh yeah, and the benefit is I've got my kid looking at his little World Cup book and he knows all the flags now.
Nice.
And I'm like yes, he's more cultured than I was, thank God. So World Cup update. Let's first go into our players, of which we only have 3.
Yeah.
How did you feel like? Let's start with Pickford, just because I feel like he's the one that everybody's really truly wondering about. How'd you feel like Pickford played the other night?
That, in all honesty, for the lad to be playing England #1 in its first World Cup, and I think it's well documented the pressure that particularly the England players are put under for making tournaments like this, but particularly by the English press. And for him to, I was desperately, I was unlucky. I felt unlucky for that penalty. He was just inches away from getting a stronger hand and putting it around the post. But all in all, I think it was a faultless performance. Really, nothing that you could really criticise him for.
He didn't have to see a lot of action, did he?
No, not really, except with all those bloody flies buzzing around the place. I mean, Obi sprayed himself with a bit of mosquito spray, but I mean, yeah, I'm glad he's the #1 for a start. I'm glad he's getting this, this opportunity to be on this stage. I doubt he either thought that himself,
Yeah.
At Sunderland, making it through the ranks. So yeah, I'm just really happy for him.
Yeah, it was hard to really get any kind of an idea of how he was actually doing because he didn't really have to face a lot of pressure. England played pretty well, despite the fact that they didn't finish very well.
Yeah.
They should have that game should have been out of reach well before the second goal. But Pickford on the PK or Pickford on the penalty. PK. Hey, I'm from America. But I thought he did well on it. He picked the right side, and I thought it was a well-placed penalty.
Yeah, it was.
I can't really blame him for that. Honestly, it's hard to say that he made a lot of mistakes. I know he was catching some flack for having small arms from some English supporters. I think that's maybe some people who just don't like Everton that put that out there.
Yeah, I'd like that.
How can you blame him for that? I don't know. I think that's dumb. Just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the jury is still out on Pickford on the World Cup. We think at the moment though he's done well.
Yeah.
Idrissa Gueye, Senegal. Got a nice win, didn't they?
It's kind of you're happy for all these players. Obviously, Senegal making it through. You can tell how much for players like that. You see how much it means to them. But apart from you see all these nations that like your Brazils, like your Germanys, like your Englands who make it all the time. And it was just I was made up to see him get that goal as well. I mean, I know it was deflected and it was off a rather stereotypical attempt of his, where he kind of fires it like a loose cannon to the box. But again, I'm made up for him, and I think he played exceptionally well.
It was such an Idrissa Gueye goal. It's like he cracked it from really far away, when normally those just sky into the stands.
Yeah,
it deflects off another player and gets in, and it's just like because he's. I don't know. His shots are usually off target, so the fact that he scored on a deflection, okay. I know they didn't give it to him. They said it was an own goal, so that pissed me off.
He'll be claiming it's one of those, isn't it? It's the story itself. Basically, scored the goal at the World Cup.
I was heartbroken. I walked out of the room. The rest of my family was eating in there watching the game. I walk out of the room. I hear goal, and it's not the TV I hear. It's my family, and I run in there and I see Ghana's face really huge on the TV. I was like, what? And my wife's like, Gueye scored, oh my gosh. And I was like, he never scored. That's amazing. But yeah, and he made, like, some people have had like a team of the week to this point, and he is on it.
I think,
which is awesome.
Collectively, I thought Senegal were superb. I think they were just energy non-stop, the kind of the packed mentality. And I think they obviously forced Poland into making mistakes, as shown by the second goal, and they did really well. A shock.
Yeah, Senegal was. I thought it was fun to watch them. To be honest with you, some of these squads are not exceptionally fun to watch, but that is a team that they're pretty intelligent. They have really good talent.
Yeah.
That it's just a pretty. I don't know. That's a solid squad. I could see. I think they will make the second round, and I could see them making it to the final 8.
Yeah.
but they'd have to scrap and beat somebody good.
Mm.
So let's move away from Gay and move to another player who also had made one of the teams of the week. Beside Gay, Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Iceland managed a 1-1 draw with Argentina, who I'm actually watching right over there, by the way. You can't see that, but I'm watching them. And Max is watching it right there at his desk as well. But Sigurdsson had a good game,
He did.
I thought. I actually thought Iceland were way more attacking than I was expecting. Gylfi played well. I was psyched. And he got sort of an assist. It, deflected off another player.
Yeah. You give him that, don't you? I think he's the one that laid it on. And I think there was, for the certitude and the determination of the Iceland team as a whole, there's a lesson to be learned. If you make Gylfi Sigurdsson your focal point of your attacks, as he was for Iceland, you reap the rewards of that. And I think Silva's got to be seeing how he performed, the position that he was in the pitch, because we all know Gylfi covers up for a number 10. He doesn't have to cover a lot of ground, and he grafts hard.
Did he cover more ground than anyone else that game?
I didn't look at that stat, but
I feel like that was specifically somebody pointed out that stat. He ran more than anyone else during that game. So that says a lot right there.
He's going to be huge next season.
I hope so. Because I like him a lot. I do. It's really hard not to like Gylfi. He just seems like a nice guy. Works hard,
Yeah.
So that's all of our players that are in the World Cup right now. But we do have some potential connections that have played already. Irving Lozano, I thought he looked good. He got a goal against Germany for Mexico. What do you think?
I really thought Mexico as a whole were absolutely superb. I think that was probably the best individual team performance, I think, of the tournament so far. I think the way Germany set up to camp the fullbacks so far up the pitch, and they play predominantly down the right-hand side, which just was a dream for Lozano, because I think every time Germany were possessed, he was the first to make it to the ball and pick his head up and sprint into space, as shown by his goal. I think his goal as well, there was a lot to be taken from his goal, the quick feet. I mean, I know it was Mesut Ozil that he sped away from. He's not particularly the most defensive of players, but it's what you want to see, particularly to a player that you link to. And I know everyone's saying we want that snapped up as soon as possible, but with the £30 million price tag on him, I think we'd be silly not to snap that up straight away.
Yeah, I don't know that it's whether or not we can afford him; it's whether or not he's going to have other options, right? Yeah. And we will get more into that in our transfer focus video coming up. Speaking of Germany, Marvin Plattenhardt. Germany was attacking up that right side with Kimmich the entire match. Rarely went up the left. As a result, Mexico rarely attacked up the right side, meaning Plattenhardt didn't see a lot of action.
Yeah. He was just made to look silly, I think. Again, obviously, because you've got to hold that line. If you're playing a high defensive line, the whole back four has got to kind of be as one. And even when Mexico kind of shifted the ball about, there was so much space in those pockets around the flanks, and Plattenhardt just got made to look silly. He didn't have anywhere near the same amount of touches or involvement as Kimmich, so he didn't really get to express or show what he's about going forward. But defensively, I think particularly after that performance, I think we'll be looking elsewhere.
Yeah, after watching, I just was kind of underwhelmed. I do think his crosses are maybe stronger than he was able to demonstrate. I do worry about athleticism. I worry about speed with him. I'm a little concerned about that. I didn't think he looked anywhere close to being the fastest player on the pitch. And when faced with a player like a Lozano, I know Lozano was on the other side, but had he been faced with a player like that, I think he would have been skinned.
Yeah.
Moving on to another player who some people felt was underwhelming, William Carvalho from Portugal. Played all of both games. he's sort of, he looks like a replay in that he looks like he's in slow motion.
Yeah.
I mean, his passing stats are good. We were talking about that off camera, right?
It's quite interesting because he's at the heart of this team, and that's a really successful team, so to berate him straight away, I think you'd be, ignorant to do that. And because and I was having this discussion on Twitter. It seems if you're gonna bring him in, you need, obviously they've got Moutinho alongside him, and the way Moutinho distributes the ball and kind of gets himself about is well documented and well known.
Oh really? Who's Moutinho?
Moutinho.
No, I was joking because I felt we were connected with him for like a long time, right?
He's still at Monaco now, isn't he? Is it Monaco? He's still doing the business.
Yeah, I think he's there.
I was just wondering if he's still at Monaco.
He's just been around for a while. I know he was one of those players we always joke about as Everton supporters.
Yeah,
when's Moutinho signing? When's Riquelme coming in? That kind of thing. So, but yeah, Carvalho did his job, and Portugal seems to be very pleased with him right there. That's what gets to me.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he starts for Portugal, and they're no slouch. They're not bad. He just doesn't look like he ever hits a sprint, ever. And it's really tough. But when placed beside a Gana Gay, he could be maybe a very stabilizing presence. He looks unflappable in that whenever he brings the ball in, he controls it calmly, doesn't get dispossessed often, and usually finds somebody that he can swing it to on the other side. There are things that he could maybe do for us. It's weird to get on board with a player who really looks like he's in like a foot of mud.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Andre Carrillo is a player that was on loan at Watford last season, and he was one of the players that supposedly Silva had agreed with him that he was going to be coming to us with Silva. Okay? And I don't think we're talking about a very expensive player. However, I do think his price may have gone up at Benfica because he's had a good World Cup. He's looked good. Not a lot of, no goals, but he's looking dangerous from the side.
Yeah, it's quite typical of the Peru side that we're seeing, isn't it? He's kind of at the heart of all the sexy football, but no kind of conversion or clinical about his game. And it's kind of one of those that you kind of just watch him from afar, and you're not too fussed whether it happens or not.
Yeah. He's he's older, so. He's like 29. I'm 40 and I say 29 is older. But he's older, and we have an interesting new blueprint for how we're going to do things at Everton this coming season. So we'll talk about that more later too. Hakim Ziyech at Morocco. That's the way the announcers have been saying it during the games. Played well. His team lost both games. But he looks good. He looks like one of their best players on the field. He looks lively. I still want him for our team.
Yeah. In terms of his physical attributes, in terms of his pace and his power, which always seems to be in question of players in the Dutch league. I don't think that's lost on him at all. I think particularly in that game against Portugal yesterday, he looked fit to the fiddle, and he was again at the heart of, quite similar to Peru, a Morocco side that plays all this lovely football but just can't stick the ball in there.
He looked dangerous. He looked like he connected with other players. He looked confident. I worry he's on to a bigger squad than ours, though. The rumors I've heard are Roma, so we'll see about that. These are two recent ones, and let's zip through these really quickly. Aaron Moy at Australia, plays for Huddersfield. He's looked like Aaron Moy. We're familiar with him. We know what to expect from him. He's a solid player. I don't know if that's a legit link, but it's one that came up recently. And he's, in my opinion, he's the most impressive player at Huddersfield. I think the idea of setting him beside Ghana and Sigurdsson right there with them, that's sort of interesting. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he's more of a center mid rather than an attacking center mid.
Yeah, but it's that question over quality, isn't it? It's kind of, is he going to fit in and hit the ground running and be this kind of revolution in the midfield, which I think we really need. And Though, as you say, he's probably Huddersfield's best player, and he's probably been Australia's best player at the World Cup here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's of that quality that we need.
Yeah, I actually would be okay with it, just because I feel like he's less of a risk. But I think if you're buying a player from inside the Premier League, from a fellow Premier, you pay escalated prices, and that's where I bow out, because I don't think we're going to do a lot of that this year. Last, Domagoj Vida, Croatia, playing right now. Started this game. They haven't let in a goal yet, but to be honest with you, I didn't get to see much of the Nigeria-Croatia game. So,
kind of part of a well-oiled machine, isn't it, really, as you say, in the Croatia side. Yet to concede the goal and really look comfortable. And I think with our defensive problems at the moment, we'd welcome someone like that.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of other stuff to rattle off. The analysis portion of this is pretty much done. This is an update as far as the picks that happened last week. Teams to watch, underdog teams. Terry picked Mexico, and yeah, they beat Germany, and they were an underdog in that one. Technically, yeah. I never considered Mexico to be an underdog team, but I think it's because you don't mention them in the top 4 to 8 teams usually. I think Terry's right to include them. Yeah. So yeah, they did well. Paul said Portugal, another team that I never really consider as an underdog. I think he's thinking that because nobody's really talking about them. And I'm not going to say they looked good in their first game. The second game they didn't look good and still won. But yeah, they're sitting on 4 points right now. And I picked Morocco, who, to be fair, was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
But they lost. And the other team I picked was Serbia, who won their first one, and I think they've got a good one coming up tomorrow. So that's where we're at on that. The champs, I think Max was in with me and Terry and saying Germany's was our pick to win the World Cup. That's not looking good, but it's been one match, so let's not go overboard. And Spain Paul picked Spain, and that's looking like a solid pick right now. They've won and drew, and they've played, I don't know. Their game with Iran was such a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a strange. I do think they still look good.
Yeah.
Golden Boot winners, our picks were Griezmann for Paul, who has 1 goal. Suarez for me, who blew like 8 chances in the first game. Drove me nuts. But he got a goal yesterday, so he's sitting on 1. And Terry picked Messi, who has not scored yet, but he might score second half. We'll see. But the people who are in the lead, Cristiano Ronaldo has 4. He's looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Denis Cheryshev for Russia. Also, I think, wasn't he originally, or before that he was on Real Madrid, right?
Real Madrid, Villarreal. And
Villarreal now, yeah.
Where is it now? I'm south of Vigo, maybe, but that might be wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure about that. But he's gotten 3. Russia just, yeah.
Yeah, they've kind of blew us all out the water, really. I think there was so much coverage of the fact that they're the lowest ranked team in the tournament, and they just come in like a bull in the china shop, haven't they?
They've covered more ground than any other team. I saw that stat again too. Okay, they have literally run farther than any other team. So, yeah, there's that. And then we've got 3 tied with 2. Harry Kane has 2. It's Zubia from Russia has 2, and that tall guy for Belgium, I don't know who he is. Lukaku. All right, so sweepstake. I'll go through this. John had Germany. They have 0 points after 1 game. I had Nigeria. They had 0 points after 1 game. Max had Spain, 4 points after 2 games. David has Denmark, 4 points after 2 games. Tom has Saudi Arabia. They are eliminated. Edward has Belgium. It's so Edward to have Belgium. Yeah. I'm just saying. They have 3 points after 1 game. One of the few games in which I called the score beforehand. Yeah, I usually get it wrong. Paul has Costa Rica and they have 0 points after 1 game. Jacob has England, 3 points after 1 game. Thomas has Peru. They're eliminated. Terry has Iceland, 1 point after 1 game, and Paul F. has Australia. They have 1 point after 1 game. And that's it. That's it for our World Cup update. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe. We are edging closer to 850, I believe. We're slowly getting there. I think it's possible to have 1,000 before the season starts. Let's make this happen. Also, something I should have done earlier. Max has an article. Okay, right now it's a World Cup watch. Check it out. There's more in-depth analysis about some of the players we talked about here. It's on the Toffee Blues website. Yeah, so check that out. And I think that's good. So we're gonna go do more videos now. So, bye.